Peace be with you. Happy Passion Sunday. I want to invite you for a moment to place yourself in the mind of a first century Jew. You're awaiting your Messiah. You've been under Roman persecution for 100 years, and you're looking for freedom from this oppressive government. And so you're welcoming the Messiah who's coming into your town. Hosanna to the Son of David, waving palm branches around. What kind of Messiah are you expecting? And to your surprise, but also in a way that's been prophesied, in a way that you're coming to expect, the Messiah is coming on a donkey. It's Jesus. Except he's not here to liberate us from the Romans. But instead we have a Messiah who liberates us from the captivity of sin. He comes to free us, but not from government persecution, but from the chains of our own sin and our own guilt. And he calls us to a conversion and a freedom that is more interior than what we had hoped. I ask this because the way that we view our Messiah, the way that we expect Jesus to be, is central to our life of faith. The truth is, it was those same citizens who welcomed Jesus as he came into Jerusalem. It was that same town that crucified him 5 days later. And so we want to make sure that we're not constructing Jesus into our own image and likeness, but we want to conform rather ourselves into God's image and likeness. And so what kind of God do we have? Because if we miss this question, we run the risk of being like Judas, who knew who Jesus was, but he just wasn't pleased with the kind of Messiah Jesus was. And so it was easier for Judas to betray Jesus than to give his all to Jesus. Because Jesus is the kind of God who calls us to the truth, who calls us to give all of ourselves to him, to surrender, to not always have control or not always have the answers, but rather to trust him and to experience his love in a redeeming way. So as we enter into this Holy Week, will you let Christ be the King of your life? But will you let him be the King on his own terms? A King who humbles himself, who puts on a crown of thorns, who calls us to take up our own crosses so we can unite them to his and encounter his love and his redemption in an unprecedented way. Because as we stay with Christ during his passion, let us remember that the Passion and Easter go hand in hand. So this Holy Week, can we stay with Christ? Can we have the courage to bring our fears, our sufferings, and even our hopes to the cross and unite those with Jesus? Because the resurrection on Easter will only make sense if we have first died with Christ. May God bless you.